Good afternoon, guys. What's going on? Steven Salindor here, and I'm just shooting this quick video, just going over market analysis of what transpired last night, especially on a lot of JPY pairs. Just going to go over, once again, marking up your charts, why we took this trade, and, basically what can we expect. All right, so last night I called for a sell specifically on USD JPY, pretty much all the JPY pairs. I knew that they would drop and drop heavily, and the reason being is, based off of previous support and resistance, most importantly supply and demand zone, I knew that these pairs would drop. And not only that, we'll take a look at some other pairs that have performed well over the last week. So let's go over that USD JPY pair, right? Let's start from the beginning. Erase everything because I want you guys to see how everything basically transpired. All right, so when we entered the market, before we started the week, USD JPY, I mean, based off the overall trend, it's basically been on a downtrend. All right, that's where USD JPY as a overall pair has been going. It's been going on a downtrend. I expect it to hit 105, eventually breaking past this zone right here and going down to like 99 range. All right, so that's just the overall long term on the monthly time frame of where USD JPY was going. But if you break it down to the smaller time frames, you always got to keep this in mind. Each time frame is telling its own story, like I always said. So prior to this week, and we see this long candle just shot back down. Previous week, we had a bullish candlestick that just went up. So before last night, USD JPY has basically kind of just been on an uptrend, and it's been ranging within this range. And for those who notice, it basically performed a double top, or what else is known as an M. And if you notice, based off the daily time frame, if you look to the left, we see sort of a small kind of supply zone. And for those who don't know, supply zone basically is an area of heavy sellers. So we knew that the market would drop around this range. All right, I actually had two supply zone areas, this small one, but this was the main one right here. So let's mark this up. This is off the daily. Yeah, this range, and then had this small one right here, which was this range. Now, there was a possibility that USD JPY could have rose up a little bit and entered into the next zone before dropping. But as you can see, once the market, gathered enough contracts, it just decided to, basically just drop. Once marking up the daily, like I said, you mark up your zones, and then you work your way down to the smaller time frames. You get a more precise indication of what the market is trying to do. So I called out and stated that, I'm looking for USD JPY to drop anywhere near, 111.650 to like 900 range, which is around here. And that's exactly what it did. Performed a nice clean double top, boom. And then you just saw this big candlestick just dropped. And it's also what I warned you guys with the news, because heavy news was coming out in regards to, Japan. And for anybody who's been paying attention to the economy, they've been going through a lot over there. I think today is a bank holiday, actually. And so, this, with all that news and everything that's transpiring in Japan right now, this caused for this huge drop right here. So we caught our sell around this range and rode it all the way down. So if you took profit anywhere from here to down here, you pretty much made a lot of money. And for those who are still holding, this is a good hold position because, like I said, I'm expecting USD JPY to continue a downtrend and touch 105 range. So that was a good clean trade. What I want you guys to also keep in mind when taking trades, remember, trading is 10% technical, 90% mental. All right. Now, I can't express this enough. When taking a trade off a higher time frame, you have to give the trade enough time. All right. If you're trading off the daily, each candlestick takes a day. You can't enter a trade based off your analysis on the daily time frame and expect results in 1 minute. That's not how it works. All right. So if you're going to take a trade, and me, for those who know, I'm a long-term trader. I prefer to trade off, the weekly, daily, 4 hours. You're going to be sitting in that trade for a while, but I promise you, it's going to yield you huge results. All right. I'm not in to trade for 10 pips, 5 pips. Some people you see out there, 20, just scalping the market for 20, 30 pips. No, no, no. I'm trying, every trade that I get into, I'm looking for 100, 200, 300 plus pips. This is what this trade yields you. Any JPY trade that you got in last night, that's what you pretty much got. All right. Let's look at another JPY pair. I personally like the Great Britain JPY. That's one of my favorite pairs. It did the exact same thing over here. All right. Now, based off the weekly, it's basically been on a downtrend. All right. And just to mark this up again for you guys to show you the zones. All right, now I had my engulfing candle around this range. Marked it up. And remember, when you're looking for engulfing candles, the previous candlestick can't be the same as the engulfing candle. So if you're looking for a bearish candlestick, the previous candlestick has to be bullish. If you're looking for a bullish engulfing candlestick, the previous candlestick has to be bearish. All right, so always remember that. So I mark up the higher time frame, right? Crossed up here. Should we get that? Boom. Now I make my way down to the daily. That's how you guys do it. You mark up a higher time frame and then you work your way down to the next 2, 3 time frames. Okay, and that's where you're gonna find your entries. Now as I make my way down to the daily, as you can see, look, boom, clean. This is a nice supply zone. Remember, this is heavy area of sellers. So when it first hit it, came down. Touched it again, came down. Touched it, did this big drop. Came up, touched it again, and boom. That's where we got the drop. So this is heavy, heavy area of sellers. All right. So I knew once it got in this zone again, there was a 90% chance that this was going to drop. Now, also keep in mind for those who are thinking, oh, well, every time I have a supply or demand zone, I can just use it consecutively. No, 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 no. After a while, it's going to break through. Next time this comes around, it might just break through and, continue going up. So supply and demand zones are good for about, I would say, 1 to 3 times. Especially if you're using it off the higher time frames, you know what I mean? So there's a strong possibility that it's going to go the way that you predict it to. So that's the only way that I personally trade. Support, resistance, supply, demand zones, and I'm pretty much good to go. After that, marking it up and seeing how it's looking on the daily, I make my way down to like probably the 4 hour, 1 hour and 15 for like my entries to get that precise. So what happened yesterday? Market price entered supply zone, started consolidating, just shooting up and down. Now it was just basically within this range right here, right here. So anywhere you got in between here and here, you were pretty much good. Pretty much you want to get in at the top. So this was preferably where you want to go. We entered, I know I personally entered around here and rode it all the way down to 157, which I thought that it would exactly go. I predict that Great Britain JPY will go down even further. But this yielded also another over 400 pips. Over 400 pips, guys. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for clean trades where that's going to yield you big results. All right. You're not looking to get in the market for 5, 10, 20, 30 pips. All right. Leave that for scalpers. All right. We are market analysts. We're not technical analysts. We're not, fundamental. We're market analysts. We trade based off what the market is giving us. All right. So this is what the market gave us. So this is how I knew, based off the news, everything that was going to happen. I knew during Asian session, and I stated it 2 days prior. I told you guys that all these JPY pairs would fall, and that's exactly what happened. And as we saw and heard, a lot of people made a lot of money. I saw some person turn, a few pennies into a few $100. I saw a few $1,000. One guy made $5 grand. You know what I mean? These are the types of trades that you definitely want to take advantage of, especially when you know where the market is going. All right. This is just being patient, letting the market do what it has to do, and then boom, you had your big move. All right. Now remember, anytime the market is in a supply or demand zone, you want to wait for that breakout leg. Like, you see this breakout leg? Until you see a big breakout leg, you do not get out. So if you were in on a sell and you got out early, you lost. Anytime the market is gathering up contracts, it's in like little consolidation, just kind of ranging back and forth, not really moving, it's getting ready for that big move. All this consolidation sets you up for this big move right here. All right. So you never, ever, ever get out of the trade until you see that big move. All right. Once you see that big move, then that's your indication to get out the market. Boom, another one. All right. I remember even last week, and one of the other traders, Shavar, who's been doing very well, who's been killing it with a lot of the calls, we called out USD. Look where AUDUSD is. AUDUSD came all the way down to 0.75. We called AUDUSD when it was at 0.78. Remember, the market is a game of patience. Now again, I'll show you. This is another area, supply zone, heavy area of sellers. All right. What did we do? Go on to higher time frames, see a little consolidation. Boom, I have my engulfing candlestick right here. If I really want to be precise, I can even go as far back over here on the weekly. Over here. And there. Actually, we want to move this down. This is a little higher up. This more like it. Boom. Supply zone. And then what happened? Got within range. We called this out last week. For those who kept hold of their sells, they're banking right now. Got in around 0.78 and rolled this all the way down. I have some people on my team who are still in this trade for a sell. I expect this to go right back down to around this range. Another trade, well over 400 plus pips. All right, guys? This is easy, simple stuff. This is just basically trading on what the market gives you. You only trade on what the market gives you. You don't trade anything else. You stay within these zones. You let the setups come for you. Then you execute. All right? There's no need to chase after the market. There's no need to chase after little penny pips. No need for you to be trading on the 1 minute. Let the market set it up for you. Take the trade. Use proper risk management, and then execute. Another trade that we called, which was Euro AUD, that I'm still currently in. Now, this was a great trade. This, I think, was the best trade, honestly. And it's sad because a lot of people left this trade, and I don't know why. But this yield, I think, honestly, the best results. We called this also last week for a buy. But this was really based off the weekly and daily. So you were going to sit on this trade for a while. All right. But you can't be impatient. You can't be, you know, pissed off that the market's not moving the way you want. It's going to move. It's not going to move when you want it to move, but it will move. All right. Now you had your demand zone around this range right here. My way down to the daily, and then boom. Look how every time the market came down to this demand zone. So basically demand zone is buyers, nothing but buyers, and then boom, market explode up. Boom, touchdown, market explode up. So you can just literally just wait till market price gets into these zones and then trade. You don't have to be trading in between here trying to catch if it's going to go up or down. Just wait for these zones to set up. Have your support and resistance. Let's say you don't want to stay in the market for 400 pips, 200 pips. Then that's when support and resistance come in. If you would have had a buy and you got in somewhere around here, you still catching well over 100 pips. Still good. But remember, every time you enter a trade within these zones, you're looking for, once it gets outside of the zone area, you're looking for that breakout candle. So we call this for a buy. Around here, obviously it dropped here. It's all right. We re-entered, caught this buy, and then boom. Look at this breakout candle. This is going up to at least 5-1 minimum. So for those who still have their buys coming up here, this have already yielded over 500 pips. Already. So these are the type of trades that we look for. These are the types of trades that I want you guys to get into. These are the only types of trades you should be doing. All right. If you're patient and you wait for the setups, they will come to you. No need to rush the market. All right, guys. The market is not going nowhere. I promise you, it will not close. It's not going to disappear. You know, it's going to be here. All right, guys. You just want to take educated and clean trades, clean setups. All right. Stay plugged in. Stick to the training. Talk to your uplines. You know, log into your back office and plug in, guys. All right. Everything is there for you. We will always have you set up with the best trades possible every week. One of these will happen at least once a week. Honestly, I believe twice. Minimum. There's no reason why nobody shouldn't be making money. This is easy here. This is all we do. All right, guys. So I just wanted to shoot this quick video again, just show you some of the trades that we took last night. As you can see, all these JPY pairs, you see all JPY, it did the same thing, dropped. They all dropped. They all had that big drop last night. Every single JPY pair. So it didn't matter if you traded EJ, GJ, UJ, they all pretty much did the same thing. Pretty much EJ right here got near zone area, and then boom, right before that news hit, got that major drop. I'm not getting into EJ until it gets into my zone area. So there's no need for me to jump the gun and get into this buy. Once it gets into around this area, then that's when I'll enter for my buy-in, and then I'll do the exact same thing, ride it right back up. Boom. All right. So I hope you guys found this video useful. Just quick market analysis of what happened last night. I appreciate everybody for getting on this call, and y'all have a great day.